What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast, celebrating 6 years of podcasting. This is episode 510. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Lincoln in the studio.
In the studio, it's so exciting. Hi, everybody.
It really is. We don't do this that often, and it's really exciting. Of course, joining us in studio is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing well. It's lovely to be here with you, gentlemen.
It really is on this episode 510, and I couldn't think of a better person to have in studio. Hot topic that we got to talk about. Madonna celebration tour kicked off in London at the Arena
I'm not sure how you say it. The O2
O2, Oxygen. I want to say Oxygen. I'm not sure either.
Ooh, I like the Oxygen Arena.
I'm making
so
that
British.
up probably. Super excited. She's gotten great reviews. I've watched some clips online. Not too many because I want to see the show when it comes to the States here, but she's back. The reviews are in from Variety to Billboard to every publication is talking about the reigning queen is back, claiming her throne. And in a time of Taylor Swift, Beyonce, which kudos to them, which
totally.
have been, we can talk about them in a second.
Okay.
It's really nice because this was the tour that was supposed to start here in the States. It was supposed, she got really sick and was in the hospital.
And talked about it during the concert.
So,
Which, by the way, people listening, if you're not into spoilers, if you don't want to know anything about this tour until you see it in person, and I've been this person. I was this person with Rebel Heart. I needed like a month and a half to go by and not know anything. So if you're out there and you're doing that, just turn us off or listen to us later.
Yeah.
Like fast forward.
Yeah.
There's going to be another topic. I don't know.
yeah.
Are you guys going to talk about Madonna for an hour?
Or just like
Oh, my
star it,
goodness.
favorite this episode, and remember to come back. Because that's also fun. When I did Rebel Heart, I had a folder full of articles that I
that's
wanted to
fun.
read. And so when I finally went and got the concert, then I sat down and opened that folder.
Yeah, for
very
diehards,
fun.
absolutely. Good point
Yeah,
to make.
if you're into it.
I think we won't say too much about it, but I think I saw some pictures of her. I think she looks amazing. I saw a couple video clips of it. It looks so good. It really is the celebration tour. So all of the hits, interesting lineup of songs. We don't have to go into all of that, but all of your favorites are going to be sung in this. Love the dancers in there. I'm just getting chills thinking all about it. Our other co-host, who's not Mr. Madonna fan, Jeremy Ross Lopez, texted me and said, "Oh my God, the Madonna tour looks amazing."
Did he watch? Oh, that's
yes.
fine.
And so one thing we should talk about, though, that relates to kind of our show is she pays tribute to those who we've lost to AIDS during this particular tour, and I did see a little bit of an homage to it, and a lot of people don't know or remember that she was at the forefront with the Blonde Ambition tour, always standing up, giving back, teaching people about HIV, AIDS. Her friend Keith Haring, of course, died of AIDS. There's an amazing tribute that she does in this tour to not just remind people, but to honor those that we've lost.
Really beautiful.
Like Keith Haring singing the song Live to Tell. How much do you love that song, Live to Tell?
I love that song. I have loved her performing that song in many concert variations. Like in Confessions, she was on the disco crucifix. So to connect it to that tour, and that was about AIDS and HIV, that segment. I loved it.
Yeah, a lot of people, Kodi, were saying that they didn't expect to be in tears in this concert. I was reading some of the feedback, and they are literally... I didn't expect to cry in this, but how important do you think it is that she honors that? And then we remember that she's been at the forefront for our community.
Yeah, I think that she's amazing, and she always seems to give back, which I really appreciate. So I'm not surprised that she's doing this. I applaud her for doing this, and I can't wait to see the show. We were talking about it earlier. We saw you showed me some clips, and I was really, really excited. It got me in the mood to go see the Madonna tour, so I can't wait.
It's really cool because everybody in this country here in the States has been talking about the tour that apparently has been saving our economy, Taylor Swift, and she had a movie that dropped over the weekend that is huge. Beyonce, of course, is also responsible for our economy, which is great. I think the women are showing up for film, TV, our economy, and I just think, you know, while I'm not a fan of Taylor, I respect what she's doing and the movie. I will remind people that there was a movie that Blonde Ambition. What was the movie called?
Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare.
Yes, I just looked it up last night.
Yeah.
We're actually using part of that for our Halloween costume. So it's hard to watch, by the way. Keep going.
I love that movie so much, and it was a docu-film. Maybe a little bit different than what Taylor's doing, but how do you think?
I think this is the the great news. We don't. It's just like people who put down Gaga because they love Madonna. It doesn't make sense to me. Everyone can do their tours and make money. Madonna did that 20 years ago. People have been flying around the world to see Madonna and adding to the economy before either one of those artists did it, and there's room for all three.
There is.
So knock yourself out of the park. And the fact that she's doing it again, I say this about so many things, they're doing it. How many people gave up? How many people stopped? And I can defy you that there is not 1 second of the Taylor Swift concert or the Beyonce concert that doesn't root back to Madonna's Super Bowl performance. Because all the technology was made on Madonna at that Super Bowl.
Oh, that was really good technology.
So it's great that everyone thinks people are inventing things. Madonna started that. She also started being canceled with the crucifixes on fire and Pepsi.
Wow.
Yeah.
She is the original. So it's like going to see some straight current artist and then comparing them to the Rolling Stones. They wouldn't be there if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And because she's a woman and there's a lot of costumes and makeup and skin and controversy and starting 20 minutes late because let it be.
Yeah. Let's keep up with celebrating women and this hot topic where in San Francisco, Bay Area, where you and I are from, Lincoln, there's a gay pro baseball player, Solomon Bates, and he's clapping back essentially because a lot of trolls were upset that the Giants are considering a woman for a manager. Ooh, a woman, right? The San Francisco Giants are looking for a new manager after firing Gabe Kapler. And last week, the team, they simply interviewed assistant coach Alyssa Nacklin, and she made history a year when she became the first female to coach on the field in a major league game. A star collegiate softball player and a member of the Giants organization since 2014, Nacklin warrants an interview. But a lot of trolls came on social media, were triggered by the idea of a woman managing in the big league. That's where Solomon Bates steps in. Gay baseball player. He's the right-handed pitcher, and he publicly came out as gay in 2022. He's been standing up for her. She'd be an amazing manager, he said. And it just, like to your point, Kodi, it's like women are showing up right now. They're saving our economy apparently right now, which I love it. What do you think of this bullshit of, well, I think it's bullshit that the trolls are coming after a female like manager? It's like, it's 23.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Women are just as capable, if not more capable, than men are. So I don't understand the hubbub as far as that's concerned. And she's managing. It's not like she's on the field playing baseball with the other dudes. And if she was, I don't know. More kudos to her if she was on the field. I don't see that there's any issue here for me as far as managing is concerned. And I'm so proud of that gentleman for standing up for her because it's really a non-issue.
And Lincoln Solomon said in a post, being gay in this sport, you don't know what comes at you, he wrote. I thank the Giants for giving me the opportunity to be myself and go out there and play the game that I love the most. So he's gay. He's been accepted by apparently a sport that has been, I guess, homophobic traditionally. It's been around in America forever. Probably not a lot of sexuality being seen.
I don't know how homophobic it is, though. I mean,
I know a bunch of
misogynistic, perhaps.
I can
like
probably
any other professional sport, but I wouldn't say it's more homophobic than another I don't
Perhaps
know. Right?
not.
See,
I
I
don't.
can
This
name-
is so not my topic, but I love that I know so much now because of listening to the Tags podcast. Because I'm like you said, we're from the Bay Area,
Right. Giants.
And I have a contractor in the Bay Area that's doing something on a house for me. I can't wait to turn and be like, so what did you think of the female candidate for the Giants?
Manager, yeah.
And I have and I would love to hear their feedback.
Yeah.
And what they think of that. Because what a gay man in New York City thinks about that, I don't really have an opinion. It's not. Like,
What about the
from
trolls, though, that come out for somebody for
Listen.
being a female? Like, why couldn't a female be a manager of a baseball
I
team
think
when
the
she's
trolls
shown?
are still getting the megaphone and they're getting less and less. I really feel that trolls are less, like we're putting the focus on the 2% and we think they have the same voice as the majority. They're just loud. It's sad. It's in every case. It's in trans rights.
We're going to talk
it's
a lot.
in gay rights. It's
Yeah.
in Madonna's age on stage. It's all of that.
Right.
That I want to like see it, but not focus on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like see it, acknowledge it's there, but then keep getting the good fight because women might be saving our economy, but so are we.
Right.
At least
No,
I am.
we are.
I'm trying to. Come on.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't contribute to that. No. No, but I was going to say, I think that I can name more gay football players but I can't hardly name any gay baseball players basketball. I can't name any gay basketball player either.
We're not a sports show, clearly, audience. And that's okay.
We should not be digging this any deeper.
I know.
We should let
Let's
it
just
go.
let it go. Let's move on.
I think that's a good idea.
So we're moving
Let's-
on.
We're moving on to Boy
All right.
George, somebody I think we can all talk about a little bit.
Yes.
Boy George and a newer artist,
My
Troye
comic
Sivan, who I love. His album dropped too. But let's start with Boy George. Boy George was recently interviewed on how wearing makeup helped him meet men and why he refuses to go under the knife. And here's just some of his quotes. I really love it. I can't sit here now and say I had a mission. The makeup thing for me started because I have got a very plain face, nice eyes, but a plain face. And once I started playing around with makeup, I realized I could look like a totally different person. Suddenly I was very pretty and the boys bought me drinks. A lot of my friends back then would come out at night dressed up and they'd have normal jobs. When they saw me coming down the street in the middle of the afternoon, like Carmen Miranda, they used to dive into shops to avoid me, at least until I got famous. Then it was, George, let's get a coffee. I look at some of my contemporaries and I'm like, why have you never slapped on some foundation? So he goes on to say, I joke all the time that I'm going to be the only person left with their own face. Every single time I go out, someone comes up to me and says, your skin's amazing. What do you use? I say nothing. They say, you're lying. You've obviously had Botox, but I've never had it. It's taken me years to get to a place where I can look in the mirror at George O'Dowd and say, you're quite a handsome man. But I'm not making judgments about what other people want to do. And he is 62, which is really great. And I think this is a really good ownership of who he is. He was really like David Bowie, but very androgynous back in the day. He was in our era, I think, one of those artists that, for me, I remember loving Culture Club and never really questioning it. Much like David Bowie, I don't think I questioned sexuality at the time. They somehow got away with it in many ways. I don't know what it was.
And they really did get away with it.
Heels.
Yeah.
Why? What was that about in that era that they got away with it? I mean, not got away with it, but
It wasn't a big deal.
it wasn't a big deal. It was their shtick.
No,
Yeah.
you know what it was? I think there was a spirit in the universe at that time that was a little more accepting. We didn't put a microphone on it. We didn't have everyone on their smartphone having a friggin' opinion about it.
Duran
That's what
Duran,
it really is.
Nick Taylor or Nick Rhodes, I believe his name, wore lots of makeup, and
It was so mainstream. I'm going to try and make this really brief. When I was in high school, we did a performing arts show. We did like a musical one year, like Grease.
Yeah.
And then the following year, we did a performing arts show where we wrote our own scripts and performed them. And it was like topical of the times, right? And I did one skit that was based on Charlie's Angels. Remember, this was 980, whatever.
Please tell me you had
And
that.
The final year.
I was Bosley,
You were buzzed.
I was
Farrah
Bosley.
Fawcett?
And we weren't that progressive.
Okay.
Remember,
Otherwise,
this is
I'd be Kelly.
1986, maybe 87 or
Okay.
5 or 4. And we did this whole skit about Charlie's Angels, and Charlie came out, and Charlie was Boy George.
Oh, wow.
In our skit, like the skit that we wrote, he was our Boy
Oh, I
George.
love
He was our
that.
Charlie in Charlie's Angels. So while there was, which is kind of obvious, boys trying to be girls. We also did a spare. I'm sorry, you just reminded. I have to get this on this recording because I love this. There was another one where we did a thing on Dynasty called Dynasty.
Oh, okay. I would like to do
And
that
my
now.
best friend at the time, and I still love him very much, he played Steven, and he said, "I'm gay," and he was the gay kid in the high school.
Oh,
Like
wow.
he was
In
the
real-
rifler. He did the rifle twirl.
reality.
He was and we became he's part of the reason I moved to New York. Like
Wow.
he gave me my first apartment here to live in when I moved to New York. And even though he's not like
Your
big
best-
flashy, he's just one of those people that does something in the moment and it makes a big splash.
I love
I hope
that.
he's like
too.
a professor now and all. Yeah.
And
anyway,
Dynasty sounds like a porn. It does.
oh,
and I love it.
It does. Well, did you know Dinah Stud?
Dinah Stud? Okay.
Have you guys
We can
ever
watch
watched
that.
the
No.
movie? Okay, all the gays in the universe. There's a porn called Dinah Stud, and a full-on porn,
Okay.
like hot porn, pre-HIV.
Okay.
Okay.
And they go up in a private plane, and they take the pilot out of the cockpit, and it's the first time I
Who's
ever
flying the
saw
plane?
a boy.
Autopilot?
Autopilot, baby.
Autopilot. I saw a man on a swivel footrest. What's the
Okay.
thing called that you put your feet on?
I-
When you sit like an ottoman
Yes.
Yes.
that goes
Exactly.
around in a circle.
Okay.
Oh,
And
like a lazy,
everyone
like
on
a
the
lazy
plane,
Susan.
like a lazy Susan. It was the first time I'm having such a high between Boy George being Charlie and everything else. It's a flashback to high school
I
for me.
know, I
Dinah
live.
Stud. Look it up. I still have the tape at home. It's actually really good.
I'm going to look it up
It's
because I
very
love
hot.
Dynasty.
Very
back then.
hot.
I was more
Dinah
Knots
Stud.
Landing, sorry, but I know, but we're not getting into that. Okay. But Kodi, I got to get your opinion on
Yes.
this because what do you think about what Boy George is saying? What about also that he hasn't done injectables or anything like that? He just has beautiful skin.
To each their own, and if he doesn't want to do injectables, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
That's not something that's necessary.
I would challenge that. Though.
What do you mean?
I don't think what is the exact quote that
I
he's
did
never
I
done
did
anything
my first
like that?
He said
you guys,
that
I
he's
did
never
my
done
first
Botox.
injectables in my forehead here, and I'm happy I did because
Yeah.
I just had that fur brow that I didn't like, and so it softened it.
For any person who's ever thinking about this, I have the basic solution. Think about this. It's a piece of paper. You know when you take a piece of paper and you fold it?
Yeah.
You unfold it and you fold it.
That's
and
your-
you unfold
that's your
it,
face.
and that is your face. So if you just shoot a little things to make it not so folding
You don't
Yeah.
fold your
over
face.
time, you don't see those
Yeah,
lines
the
because they're not
creases.
so being
See?
called on. And as someone
Beautiful,
who,
darling.
if I don't get a little Botox between my front two eyes, definitely looks like an evil character in Disneyland. Like if I wrinkle too hard, people think I'm very mean.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
it
then
actually makes me nicer, even though I'm
I like
still not
no,
nice.
I agree. I'm the same way too.
You know what? And all I have to say is I just was looking at myself, and I really think I need to. As somebody who looks very young.
Cody's standing in front of a mirror and
I have to say, I've sat in that seat, and you're like an instructor who can't get their face out of their self in the mirror. You have been staring at your face, and I get
Yeah,
it, it's hard.
you
It's
gotta-
something that I do. And
Do you want some more or no?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're
And-
pouring wine in the
Yes.
background,
Yes.
by the way.
And
just
I
so that
fully
we keep
thought
it real.
Boy George was a woman when I
Really?
first saw him back in the day in
Yeah.
the 80s. I saw "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" and it really I was totally confused. I was so young. I was probably like 2. Okay.
One of the newer artists that really I love today, and I was listening to Andy Cohen's podcast. He was interviewing Troye Sivan, who just dropped his album, Something to
Give Each Other.
Give Each Other, yes. It's really good. I really like it. I think, like Kim Petras, what Andy was essentially saying is it's really great that he was complimenting Troye and saying it's really great that you as an out singer, an out performer, like some of Little Nas X he quoted.
Yep.
One could say Kim Petras. Jeremy Ross Lopez saw Kim Petras in concert in Boston last week. And it's a great time. And Andy was saying, because Andy's about our age, Lincoln and mine's age, and he said we didn't have artists that were out and proud and putting out music that are talking about sexuality. Troye Sivan has a new song on the new album called One of Your Girls, and in it, it's actually inspired by a straight guy that he liked, and the guy wanted to know what it would be like to be with a guy. So he's reimagining in this new video where he dresses up like in the video like a woman, Troye Sivan, and he actually was at a listening party last week and was talking about this song and saying, yeah, I know it might be a little internalized homophobia, that I'm reimagining myself kind of being a woman in this, but it is what it is. And I just think artists today have so much more freedom to express themselves, where I feel like Boy George in our day was androgynous and didn't have to speak of sexuality at all. And so I think it's a good time for artists in music. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh my God. I think it's a great time for artists in music, especially whatever angle. It's a great time to be an artist in our world because there's so many avenues it can take. It doesn't matter your shape, size, color. It doesn't, and none of it matters. That's the flip positive side to everything being online.
Yeah. I mean, Kodi, you could
so much being online.
Yeah. Troye could be on, he's doing a total media blitz for this new album, and he's talking about guys that he was interested in. He's talking about doing poppers, sitting next to, who was he sitting next to? Country artist of all time. Oh, I had her here, but essentially Reba McEntire. Oh, yeah. And he was telling, and she was like, what are poppers? And he was like, I'll tell you after on the break. And so don't you think it's an exciting time, or what do you think about Troye and the difference between Boy George and where we've evolved to?
Oh, yeah. No, it's an amazing time to be a gay artist because I know from personal experience, you could not live this experience as a gay artist back when I was coming up. In the 90s, if you were an out person, you could not have the type of career that you would expect your straight counterparts to have, because it was absolutely something that you did not talk about. Yeah. So I'm so glad that so many gay artists are out today and that they are really living in their truth, and it's so beautiful and amazing. And I kind of want to push back on what Troye said about it being internalized homophobia. I mean, he's doing the work for himself.
He said that as a listening party. He was questioning. He was playing music, but he was just questioning. I thought that was nice.
You know what? As far as he's doing the work and taking stock for himself, I think that's amazing.
But push back.
But yeah. So my personal opinion is that it's really just kind of recontextualizing it and really looking at different avenues of yourself, because we all have masculine and feminine energy within all of us. So I feel like maybe he's just looking at a little bit of feminine energy within himself. So that's just something for him to also kind of take in, if he's even listening right now. Troye, please tell me you're listening.
I love him.
It's funny. I thought the same thing when I heard it, and then I countered back in my head, because I think to acknowledge that there's a little weird reverse racism in a thought that someone has.
Yeah.
To say that there's absolutely not whatsoever is foolish.
Yeah.
That's a foolish game. But also there's part of that makes it hot.
Yeah.
And he's gorgeous. He's a gorgeous girl.
And he looked gorgeous dressed up the way he was. And he even said this isn't necessarily drag, because I'm not trying to do what drag queens do and be over the top. He actually was trying to dress up like an actual woman. Well, there's that. But anyways, I do think
he do all right though.
Yeah.
He do all right, but he
does okay. I don't know. I love him. He's one of my favorite.
I love him too.
Yeah.
I think I'm so complimentary. I love the music. Some struggle moves.
I want to hear them.
Let's lighten things up, because gay Twitter was all abuzz recently on a thread about how men flirt, and it's funny, it's terrifying, it's everything. Gay men flirt with each other everywhere and with every device imaginable. We crush on our gym husbands, slide into those DMs on this recent study that I'm just reading from, and don't stop until we send 3 fire emojis in response to their latest mirror selfie. selfie. The banter is both coy, explicit, leaving traces of salacious innuendos while also keeping it innocent and playful. Well, when someone on Twitter recently asked the question to the masses to flirt like a gay man, he received a trove of responses. And our big takeaway, according to this article, is y'all need to start talking to some better men. Ooh. So here's what people said: flirt like a gay man, go. Hey, handsome. And they put like the skeleton face. You show whole, people put. Hey, handsome.
I have to say, when you don't know someone's name, you say, hey, handsome.
The ubiquity
as a gay man.
The ubiquity of Grindr and social media means that an impulsive sexual urge can be satisfied with just a few taps of the finger. Literally, tap your dream away. It's interesting with flirting because a lot of people on the comment section on this thread said, have we lost all flirting with in person, and has it all reduced down to an emoji? And I do think I've learned to kind of embrace both of it now because I'm 52, but while I do go out a lot, I have to partake in today's culture, and I love to grow, and so I use emojis now, and I'm guilty of hey sexy. I don't say hey handsome, but I say hey, if I'm interested in somebody, hey sexy or looking good.
You don't say hey handsome?
I might think they're handsome, but I say hey sexy more. I'm really like not really good at this, so I will add that in my repertoire soon. But how do you flirt, and have you seen? I mean, you're in a relationship now, but
yeah, but you still flirt with people.
Yeah. So do you use? How do you flirt in person, and how do you flirt online?
In person, I'm very careful when I flirt because of today's day and age. I can call a woman sweetheart and think that I'm flattering her, or say, oh my God, you look amazing today. But then you hear about people being offended by that, and that you've gone too far.
Can I stop you really quick on that? You and I both watch The View, and I'm a big Joy Behar fan, but every once in a while she'll say things like, you're adorable, or you're to a woman, like, you're really cute, and I'm like cringing because I'm
condescending.
Like, no, I don't think she means it that way.
Okay.
I just think she's a woman of a certain age. No, and I love Joy. I love
Joy too.
Sometimes when you say you're sweetheart or you're adorable to a woman who's talking about something kind of important that's on the show.
Oh, yeah,
I
have felt that feeling.
It can sound a little cringe. She's a woman of a certain age. So yeah, that's it.
What I do think this article is completely calling for, do you remember back in like Oprah days and
this is an old school show.
Yeah, when the girls would be on there it was Sex in the City too, by the rules. Remember the rules?
Oh, the rules.
The rules, right? The rules.
Do you remember the book of the rules?
I think this sounds like a sitcom or a reality television.
A newer version of the rules.
Flirt Like a Gay Man.
Yeah.
You could do a podcast or a book called Flirt Like a Gay Man.
Oh my God, we should write it.
I know. You've heard it here first, and I came up with the idea.
That is really good, though.
That's what this article reminded me.
The rules.
Because, and to be more, my opinion is, we are all so fucking scarred by a pandemic and being alone in our apartments, by people dying unexpectedly. The AIDS crisis in the 80s was all gay men. This was like our world. Everything's wonky right now.
Yeah.
So if you feel like flirting, flirt. Call someone handsome that you wouldn't call handsome. Just don't get arrested or threatened because of it. Like, know your weight.
Yes.
Like,
I love that.
I have Peter by my side all the time. Mm-hmm. We're a couple. We're a unit. We're a family with the dog. We come as we are. Like, and if I call someone beautiful and they're offended, look around. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
And I would love if Joy Behar called me adorable. But I understand when she reduces something really serious down to, but Joy Behar called me adorable.
Oh, I would be all about it too. I know, I'm with you. And I think every guest is too. Kodi?
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I totally agree with you guys. I think that flirting is something that you become good at as you progress, and you do it more and more and more. I love being called
Is it a
handsome.
dying breed? Is it a dying phenomenon?
In person, I feel like it is.
Yeah.
Totally. I feel like people have become so reliant on apps and the internet that they have really forgotten how to interact with one another in person. And I think it's really a little bit sad. Hold on. I see you over there, baby. But it's personally, I feel like it's something that I excel at. So you know what? It makes me stand out that much more that I can actually flirt with somebody and be engaging with somebody. So I would like for everybody to practice it so that they can be better at it and stand out more and get more dates.
And speaking of pandemic, that I actually picked up during the pandemic is I started to get to know my neighbors more. Pre-pandemic, you could have asked me, who do you know in this building? And I would have said, like, maybe a couple people and the doorman, and not every doorman.
Doormans are awesome, by the way.
Since pandemic, since I broke my ankle and I've been here, I know so many people in my building, and honestly, beautiful. Sometimes I'm flirting with Fran Leibowitz. Yeah, Fran Leibowitz. She lives
She's
down
amazing.
the hall. Sometimes she doesn't want to hear from me at times. She's a little cranky, but it's Fran fucking Leibowitz. But a lot of people, I'm not flirting with everybody, but I will do a little nod here and there. I have gotten to know so many people post-pandemic. It changed the way, like, I love to know my neighbors now. And I don't know that it's a really New York thing to do, but I love now knowing that I know so many of my neighbors. A good thing came out of the pandemic.
Well, I've had a lot of hookups in your building, so I probably know more. I probably still know more people than you do in your building. I'm kidding. I'm totally
you
kidding.
probably
You
do.
It's fine. All I was going to say is let's not get hung up on the word flirting. Let's just all be nicer to one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
nice.
all like when
You can flirt with anybody.
to bring. Yeah, you can flirt, but you can also just be nice to anybody.
Yes.
And
Connect.
if you don't need to
connect.
be weird, you just need to be nice. There's
Yeah.
always a nice. I was talking about this earlier about luxury and what is meant by luxury, and you could be kind to more people.
And isn't that a
That
wonderful
is called
thing?
luxury.
Isn't
Not
that a wonderful
nice, not something pretend,
Yeah.
not flirting with because flirting kind of feels like an agenda, which you need to be careful with, because if someone could think it's an agenda just because you're innocently flirting because of your relationship with that person, that's actually where you get in trouble, right?
Right.
Is where you do that. So
Let's just do a fun study that just came out. It's not really a fun study.
Okay.
And it's a sheet company, people that make sheet, bedding company, actually. And they actually, since many of us sleep around, myself included, let me read you some stats, and then I want to know how often you guys wash your sheets. And then I've got some studies on when we should be washing our sheets. So a brand new study says that 45% of single men wash their bedding only, get this, once every 4 months.
How many months?
Once every 4 months. Single women,
that is
hold
such
on.
a hard pass. It's so
Single women wash their sheets on every 2 weeks. Couples once a month. The reason
couples once a month?
Yes.
No.
And so here's what, and then I want to know when you wash your sheets. But before we get to that, here's what the experts say that we should really be doing. Experts say that because of harmful bacteria, sweat, and dead skin, we should really be washing our duvets, sheets, pillow covers every 2 weeks if you shower before bed with pajamas. If you sleep nude, more often. And so I'm just going to go first, and I think I wash my sheets every 2 weeks on average, but I do not take a shower before I go to bed every night. In fact, I'm often like, just throw myself in bed. Now, I didn't just go to the gym. I would have showered. If I went to the gym earlier that day, I would have showered, but it wasn't. Hours could have gone by where I hadn't showered,
Tell me
and I
another
throw
one.
myself in bed. So what my new philosophy based on this research is I'm going to probably wash my sheets either once a week, because I can't, when I'm dead and I'm tired at night, I have to throw myself in bed. I can't get in the shower. So I'm just going to wash them once a week. But you know, we're sleeping around, Kodi, now that you're single, and with what's going on in Paris and bed bugs, and it's moved over to London. And my friend says,
I am not responding at all until you've both spoken.
Okay.
Keep going.
But let's just start with you, Lincoln.
Start with me.
I just said no. Go ahead, Kodi.
How often do you wash your sheets? And
Every
are
2
you
weeks.
nasty over there in Brooklyn?
I'm not. I am not nasty in Brooklyn. I mean, like, I'm the only one though. I don't understand it. Yeah, I wash my sheets every 2 weeks. I do not wash the. I do not wash the duvet every 2 weeks. I wash it every month.
Duvet.
I wash the duvet about every month. But I also take a shower before I get into bed.
So you're doing that right.
Religiously. I will not get in the bed without taking a shower.
So
And I will tell you this: when I did have a boyfriend, and I would make him take a shower before he got in the bed.
You're one
with
of
me.
those.
Yes, I am, and I've noticed.
Well, then
Because we still live together.
I love that you're referring to him as one of those. Because
I
he's
am one of
already
those.
so below the standard. I don't understand.
I'm not below the standard. I'm
No.
like right
My
on.
standard.
Here we go.
Okay, so I want to just say this before Lincoln goes.
Yes.
I've noticed.
And do you
that
sleep in the nude?
I sleep in the nude. Yes, 100%.
So you need to wash your sheets a little bit more often.
I do.
Do you sleep in
apparently.
pajamas, Steve?
I sleep in a boxer short, a loose boxer short. So my genitalia is covered.
All of my. I feel like I
I
get.
saw a woman's nightgown and rollers with the toilet paper. So that's sexier. I like that. I get it.
So let me tell you, when I put on, I've slept in like boxer shorts or what have you for the past maybe like 2 nights, and I feel like I get so hot in the genital region.
My God.
No, I'm serious. I'm so serious. I feel like I get so hot in the genital region that I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to like.
Which is why you
Shveddy
always sleep
shveddy
naked.
balls.
You always
Shveddy
sleep
balls.
naked.
They are so sweaty.
I am
It's
100%
ridiculous.
with that.
Like if you say it in this
Shveddy.
shveddy balls.
Shveddy.
Yeah.
No, it's ridiculous. I can't sleep in anything.
We've heard from you. Let's move on to Lincoln.
You always sleep naked. You wash the bed sheets every Tuesday at about 10:45 a.m. once a week, every week. You do a half a cup of white vinegar in your sheets once a month, and you could do a little Dawn soap too, and it'll really make them like fresh and good to go. You always shower before you go to bed, and you always sleep naked.
Cute.
We're done.
I love that.
Now,
Very
did-
basic. You
question-
always wash your
now,
sheets
did
once
Peter-
a week. I have a dog that's in the bed. We have sex. I'm a fitness instructor. Even though I shower before I go to bed at night, you always wash your sheets once a
So
week.
when do you come to my house to wash my sheets?
I'll sleep with you.
Are you sure?
I'll sleep with you.
Now, quick question: was Peter the same way, or did you train him?
Not trained.
Well,
No.
No, you can say train. That's fine. We're into that.
No.
We've trained
I'm
Peter
thinking
in
about
many
Peter. He's
things.
not here.
I'm
It
the
doesn't
host.
always listen. We're working
I chose
on
my
that.
words right. Turn this
Gently-
mic off.
This
Gently
is
guide.
all I'm going to tell you is that the more I lean into the truth of what that is in me, he walks around with this boner.
oh,
Like it literally gives him a physical boner.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm too busy cleaning the tub. I don't know what's happening.
I might have to excuse.
Okay, so we love talking about our musical artists, and Taylor Dayne is one of those artists that has been around. She was around when I worked in radio at KBLX Radio in the Bay Area. Taylor Dayne is talking a cancer diagnosis and the love for the LGBTQ plus community, as she's always been. She was on a Vakaya cruise where she performed, but, you know, she is celebrating her success and longevity in the music industry, and she's also grateful to still to enjoy every day she's living alive. She was diagnosed with colon cancer during a routine colonoscopy that left her fighting for her life in the hospital. Quote, I came out of it on such a healthy side and such an advocate, a warrior for yourself. Why do they tell us to wait until 50, she said, the doctor said. I don't know if you'll be here within 6 months. It's a silent killer, Dayne says. And she told The Advocate in a recent interview, since her treatment, Dayne is thankfully now doing much better, and she's encouraging everyone to make their health a top priority. Quote, "It's a rocky time. It took me 3 months to come through that health challenge. Become your own warrior first. Whether you're in a health crisis or not, the point is feeling good and getting help," she says. The singer is now teaming up with Wacol, the nation's leading designer and intimate apparel brand, as a part of the Fit for the Cure campaign to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this really spoke to me because Taylor Dayne was around, like I said, when I was in the radio station. Of course, people know I love Lisa Stansfield. They were both nominated, I think, at the same time for Best New Artist at the same year.
Who won?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Oh, Mariah Carey, I think.
Oh.
But I love Lisa and I love Taylor.
You don't need to point at me when you say Mariah Carey.
That was.
I am as far away from Mariah Carey as possible, but I do love the gesture.
I was being traumatic. I wasn't being problematic. I was just being traumatic. But I think this is really...
That's your debut album right there, Dramatique.
Dramatique. I saw Taylor earlier this year on a Vakaya cruise, and she served it. I also saw her again. I can't believe I saw Taylor Dayne twice this year. I saw her at the Jones Beach Theater, and she was really great there, too. Her voice is still really good. The thing about it is I didn't know she had this health scare, and colon cancer, she's in her 50s. I got my colon checked out with a colonoscopy at 50. A recent family member was sharing me a scare that they had recently that turned out to be benign, and it was to do with breast cancer.
Wow.
And I was pretty freaked out by that. So to hear Taylor talk so openly about colon cancer and the scare that she had, or actually not even a scare, she had colon cancer.
Yeah.
And a family member that, we are in those times now. A lot of what Taylor says in this interview that she did with The Advocate is that unlike earlier times, we have a lot more toxins that are affecting our bodies that earlier people didn't. We also have the science, but one more thing, the science is on our side too.
Yeah.
So it's like this really conundrum of a time where science is on our side, but we have more toxins in our system.
Being poisoned.
And I am of a certain age. Okay, that's our new show. But where
come on, plug.
If I'm not looking at for my own health and being my own warrior for my own health, or I'm not looking out for my mother who's 86, or I'm not looking out for my sister who's of a certain age, or my friends, or our animals, it goes through my mind once a day. Health comes into my mind every day, and our existence. Lincoln?
As it should. That's the times that's the age that we're living. It's the age that we're living, and it's also the times that we're living in. You need to be proactive about your health. So I love Taylor Dayne. I just saw her at Jones Beach as well, and I enjoy her so much. And I also enjoy her videos of that day.
Oh my God, remember them?
Yeah, and a lot of people play the Whitney stuff of that day, but Taylor Dayne of that day was more my flavor.
Yeah.
So it's nice. No disrespect to Whitney, but I love that. We did a show 2 months ago about our prostate number.
Yeah, right.
And I went into my doctor who I see every 3 months because I pay extra for like a concierge doctor that I can see whatever I want because it's worth the money. Yeah. And
you're bougie.
Well, no, I'm practical. It's about the show. Like whatever means you have, you get the best health care you can. And you have to keep pushing on it. Yeah. You have to keep pushing on. And if it means you don't eat a certain meal more often a month, you do that. Like I'm a ramen baby. I will afford anything if there's ramen in the house. Yeah. Because I can make it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It'll get me through the day. We move on. And you save money.
Yeah.
Anyway, healthcare is extremely important. And I walked into my primary care physician and was like, I need to know this number. I do a podcast and my number is really good. So thank you for bringing that up for me personally, because I remembered I made a note of it because I was about to see my primary care physician. So whether it's what Taylor Dayne's dealing with, what we deal with as gay men, what man, woman, what, it doesn't matter. Ask the questions, do the tests. Let's make progress.
Yeah, I mean, Kodi, Taylor Dayne has a point that we need to be our own warrior. We say this on the show all the time, that you have to be your own advocate for, especially if you're sexually active. You look out for your own health, but we often think about our partners, our family members, our friends. When we become of a certain age, it becomes even that more that it's a lot heavy on our shoulders.
Yeah. I have someone that's really close to me that is dealing with some colon issues right now. So I think that we all need to be more cognizant of what is going on with our bodies and take into account what is going on with us, and also talking to our doctors to kind of assess what's going on, because it could be very detrimental to your long-term health. The colon is very, very serious, and I'm so upset that Taylor Dayne had to deal with this type of thing, and I'm so proud that she's telling everybody that you have to take your own health into your hands, because it's something that, unfortunately, in the United States right now, that we have to do. We should all be on universal health care as far as I'm concerned.
Look at Mary Lou Retton. No health care.
Yeah.
It's fighting for her life.
Is that true? She had no health care?
No health care.
She didn't have health insurance?
1984, the year I went to the Olympics in LA. I know you're talking, Kodi, but sorry.
No,
she was really important to America.
It's absolutely ridiculous that we do not have universal health care in the United States in this time. And from what I've seen, I'm not quite sure. Biden just said that he would not go for Medicaid for all, and that's what Lady Bunny posted. So if you have a problem with that, go talk to Lady Bunny. But don't come at me, okay? Because I'm not the one. But I do think that is something that we should all. That it's not a luxury. Our health. It is something that we have to deal with day in and day out, and it's something that it should be a human basic right.
As always, so much fun in studio.
Yes.
I love being with you guys as the originals here. You can always follow Lincoln on Instagram. Follow him at the Protein Bakery. Follow it
just at Protein Bakery.
Protein Bakery. I know, at Protein Bakery, or stop in on 19th Street at 7th Avenue, where you can actually get...
the pumpkins are in.
Oh, yeah. What's the treat?
We have pumpkin walnut blondies and pumpkin walnut chocolate chip cookies. You can order them online, or if you're in New York, stop by the shop.
Let's bring some to Mexico. We'll drop in there.
Let's do it.
Or follow his personal
I'm
account.
coming to Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there a special... I can come
in
and bake a cookie with you guys and leave. Isn't that how it happens on The View? It's like a one-episode thing.
Follow his personal account at Mad Lincoln, or follow Kodi, our other co-host. He's a life coach. Follow him at KMD Coaching, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. This week on Tags Live, we have got... Who do we got on the show?
Jay Rodriguez and Chris Bustamante.
Dr. Chris Bustamante.
I love it. I'm so excited.
And Jay Rodriguez, who's going to be at Below 54, and we're going to see him live.
Yeah.
So join us this Wednesday for that. And our brand new show, Of a Certain Age, drops Wednesday. Of a Certain Age, wherever you get your podcast. Check it out. And in the meantime, continue having
hot gay sex.